Welcome survivors, burnout community, and those just interested. It's Kelly Bubolz, owner, trainer, and burnout prevention mentor at KV Training Connections. Burnout is not taboo. It's our reality in this fast-paced society. But we are not going to let it drive the narrative to our stories. We're going to do something about it. So let's dig in. The lines we cross on our way to burnout. Certainly there's 50 years of burnout research around the psychological and physical symptoms, causes, recovery actions that you can do. But I'm always shocked when I come across new tools, new models, on how much they're both relative and different. And there's one model I want to come across, and I'll tell you the name of the model at the end because you're going to be shocked. You're going to be both surprised, shocked, and a little embarrassed when you hear the name of the model. But when I read through this and I read the descriptions of it and I read the thoughts that go into each line that we cross, each stage, I thought to myself, these aren't just stages, these are the lines that we cross. When we go from healthy stress and things that build resiliency to burnout, that's it, the darkness. I'm going to go through the 4, and certainly you know from previous episodes, this lines up right into the action plan where we move back to energy. But I want you to think about, as we go through these stages, where you might be, what symptoms you might have, what thoughts align, and are you on your way to crossing that line? So the first line is the nice one. Of course we're going to start there. It's thriving. The first line is thriving. I got this. We're good. I moved forward. Just a little bump in the road. You're calm, you're steady, you have minor mood fluctuations. You're able to just take things with a stride and bounce back. You have consistent performance. You're pretty good day over day. There's no zombie mode or that languishing feeling. You're able to take feedback and adjust. You feel like you're constructive and moving forward. You have that progress. You're able to focus and communicate effectively. And you're getting normal sleep. You're eating a normal appetite. You know when you're hungry, you eat. You know when you're maybe pigging out on unhealthy food and you adjust. Thriving. I got this. But then there's this next line. Now, we're still in stress. We're not into the chronic stress. We're not into the burnout yet. But there's a line that we cross. When stress keeps hitting us and we're not releasing it. We're not providing space and self-care to allow our rubber band to be re-oiled up and bounce back before it starts snapping. The next line is called surviving. Something isn't right. You start thinking that, day after day it was going good, and now something seems off. Something seems different. You start to get more nervous about things. You might even be getting sad. You've increased mood fluctuations and inconsistent performance. You're having some off days, as they say. You're more easily overwhelmed and irritated. People are irritating you. Your family's irritating you. Your kids are irritating you. There's an increased need for control. Just like we talked about in previous episodes, when your life starts to get out of control, you will seek control elsewhere, in other departments at work, in other people's family lives, because yours is a little more chaotic, or your body is rejecting with dealing with it. You're having difficulty adjusting to change. You're not adapting as well. You're not bouncing back. You're starting to have trouble sleeping. You're having trouble eating, or going into unhealthy eating behaviors. And activities and relationships you used to enjoy seem less interesting or even stressful. This is when you start to give up hobbies for work. You start to have less time for those energetic activities. And so begins the de-energizing cycle. And then physically, you might have more muscle tension and low energy, headaches. So that line that you start crossing over is surviving. Something isn't right. But you stay there too long and you start crossing another line. This one's more darker. This is where we start to get over to the burnout spectrum. This line is called struggling. I can't keep this up. I'm underwater. By now you're having persistent fear and panic, anxiety. You might be more angry. You have that sense of hopelessness, like, why try? You're exhausted. You're having poor performance and difficult making decisions or concentrating. Avoiding interactions with coworkers, families and friends. You're isolating yourself. Physically, you're getting fatigued, aches, pains, restless, disturbed sleep. You might be self-medicating with substances, food, or other numbing activities to just get through the day, get to the weekend. That's the struggling line. I can't keep this up. And then you cross over the last line. And this is the beginning of burnout collapse. This is called in crisis. I can't survive this. I'm done. I don't belong here. Those are the thoughts that you might be having. You have disabling distress and loss of functions. You might be having panic attacks, heart palpitations, nightmares or flashbacks. Some trauma might be resurfacing. You might be unable to fall or stay asleep at this point. Intrusive thoughts of harming yourself, harming others. You might be easily enraged by this point, extremely aggressive with people, with things, with yourself. You might be making careless mistakes, inability to focus. That feeling of numbness, lost, or out of control. In my book, I call this the nothing. Nothing is happening. Nothing is moving forward, only back. Just dark. You're being withdrawn from relationships at this point. And it's moving from self-medicating to dependence on substances, foods, or other numbing activities just to cope through the days. So that line in crisis takes us to the burnout collapse. Now here's where the model line comes in, which I'm always shocked. So these 4 lines are similar to the 12 phases of burnout by psychologists that was researched on 50 years ago. Again, burnout has been here. Burnout will be here. Burnout will always be around. It's how we deal with the chronic stress to create healthy stress so that we bounce back, so it doesn't get overwhelming, so it doesn't cross these lines. What's interesting is going through these stages, I turn to lines because I see the crossover. I don't see them as stages. I see a line that's easily crossed because it's unidentifiable until it's already too late. I see it as a progression to burnout collapse. These overall burnout stages, which I consider the burnout crossover lines, it's called stress first aid for firefighters and ER services by the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. These are trauma lines that people in emergency services, people that see some of the most horrific human events possible, go through when dealing with trauma. They are thriving. I got this. Then they cross a line. Surviving. Something isn't right. Then they cross the line. Struggling. I can't keep this up. Then they cross a line. In crisis. I can't survive this. So if you are feeling these lines, you're feeling these symptoms, you're feeling a certain stage, know that the level is high. The level is similar to those such as firefighters and ER services that are noticing right in front of their human eyes trauma happening. And you're crossing those same lines. So where do we go from there? Well, the first step is check out other episodes in this podcast, ones that speak to you. Is it work? Is it parenting? Is it leadership low? Is it my habit hormones are all messed up? Is it I need to just break this down and see where I'm at? Go grab the workbook. Begin breaking this down in your mind, where to start, what is happening, what has been, and where you're going. Grab up the Compass program, an online independent program for you to go through the shifts all the way to sustaining this new lifestyle that you want to step into. Grab up a free discovery call where we're going to start breaking down what has happened. How did you cross the line and where you're at? What's the plan? What's the next steps? As they say in Alcohol Anonymous, the first step is admitting it. The first step is identifying that you have crossed the line. You have crossed the line out of thriving to surviving. You had crossed the line from struggling into crisis, and you are now in burnout collapse, either physically or mentally. And there's no shame or blame in that. I had to hit rock bottom before I changed. I've been there. I know the difficulties of what society brings, other people's expectations, my expectations, that will hold you crossing over these lines, unable to stop. But I believe you can. I believe that you don't have to stop, but you do have to change.
I know you're not lazy. Most people in burnout are high performers, those serving others before themselves. Don't discount this step today, the step in which you focused on your self-growth. Piecing together the puzzle is half the journey. Rediscovering energy through new actions and habits is the other. Do not underestimate the strength in your actions and the beast to do hard things that lies within you. Check out more burnout resources on my website to move from zombie mode back to liveliness. See you soon.